What's up, guys? It's time for another brew day. So let's go see what I gotta pull down to get this going. Up there is where I store all my brew stuff when I'm not using it. I know, look at my garage. Complete mess. This is something I have to get in order this weekend, or you know, I just got stuff everywhere, but this is usually where I brew. But as you can see, I gotta get all that down and brew our chocolate milk stout. So here we are. So let's get all this crap down and get started, shall we? Hey guys, how you doing? Anyways, I'm up to heating up some strike water here. I got 6.117 gallons more or less in this pot to heat up so we can mash in our grains. We're doing a chocolate milk stout, and it's actually something I found on homebrewedtalk.com. A guy who goes by the name of Metal Matt put it up there, and I looked it over and I thought it looked pretty damn tasty, so here we are. I'm gonna try and make it today. What's in it is there's 14 pounds of pale malt, 1 pound of caramel crystal malt, 40 Lovabonds, 1 pound of chocolate malt, 8 ounces of black patent malt, a pound of milk sugar, a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, 1 ounce of warrior hops, 1 ounce of Willamette hops, and then we're going to use a Safe Brew Ale packets. I did a yeast starter for. We're going to use that to ferment it. So anyways, that's what we're up to right now. We're heating this up to 168 degrees. My grain was about 78, I believe. And so that'll give me a strike temp and hopefully a mash temp of around 156, 155, so we'll see. Okay, my strike water is up to temp, so now what I want to do is I'm going to put it in my mash tun. Mash tun has been preheated with some hot water just to warm it up. So now what I'm going to do is put my strike water in, then I'm going to put my pH balancer in, then I'm going to put my grains in. So here we go. Careful with the strike water, it's really a lot of water and quite heavy. Alright, next we're going to put a tablespoon of 5.2 pH stabilizer in there. So magical looking. Gonna stir that a little bit. It's like calcium. I believe it's like a calcium. Wouldn't be a calcium because that would make it more alkaline. It'd have to be something acidic. So, grab my mash paddle, and I'm gonna tear a hole in the corner of my bag. Set that aside, and we're going to pour in the grain and mash it. Big old pot of oatmeal. We're going to get it going a little more here. Of course, every time I do a video outside, which is only my second time, somebody decides to cut their yard. On a Friday. Well, let's just face it, nobody in my neighborhood really cuts their own yards except for me, really, and my neighbor across the street. Everybody else in here is, I guess, too hoity-toity, I don't know. Don't want to cut their own yard. Really the only source of exercise I get anymore. So, we'll finish doughing in this grain. Mashing in, doughing in, those are the two terms a lot of brewers use. I just want to give this a good mix for a couple of minutes here. Make sure I get all the dough balls out. you get any on the side, I just kind of brush them off the side. Hopefully we got around 155, 156. I'm really hoping so. Set this aside. Take a measurement real quick. Five, come on. Guys, look at that. I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna put hold on it. Right about where I was wanting it to be. So we're good. I'm gonna cap it, let it sit for an hour, and then we'll start vorlofing. Alright guys, it's been an hour. This has been setting and resting and mashed in for an hour. I also, in the interim, went and heated up some hot liquor tank water so I can sparge water, so I can rinse the grain bed. So anyways, also filled up a beer. This is my Oktoberfest. It's been kegged for a while, and it's that's commercial clear. Oh, it's really good too. Oh, the longer they sit in the keg, the better. I mean, I'm a firm believer in that. I think beer just gets better and better and better the longer it sits in the keg. So, anyways, just wanted to share this with you for a second. So let's go ahead and do our vorlof. Take the lid off of this thing. I am packed at capacity on this particular brew, and I'm going to go ahead and put my sparge arm on, connect it to the hot liquor tank. This is called fly sparging for those of you that don't know yet. So, alright, that's set up. So now let's do a vorlof. Got my collection container here. We're going to go ahead and slowly open this up. There we go. A lot of bits and pieces coming out of there at first. And the idea is to let this not run too fast. You want to let the bed settle slowly. Otherwise you'll end up with what's called a stuck sparge. And you don't want a stuck sparge. Slow this down a little bit now that we got some flow going. Man, that looks like that's some dark stuff. That's my time clock going on. Anyways, I'm just going to do this until I run it clear. And then when it's there's no bits and pieces, we'll continue on with the boil. Alright, I thought I'd show you a little sparge arm action. Why not? So I'll go and get the sparge arm going here. I'm collecting in my pot as we speak. So we're gonna let this. I want to keep about a half inch or so of water above this grain bed, and it'll rinse the sugars out of the grain as it goes. And once I collect about 7 gallons in my pot, then we'll be ready for a boil. But people seem to like this part, and I don't know. It's pretty entertaining, I guess, to some degree. But yeah, we'll get back to it here shortly. Alright guys, we're at the boil mark. So I've been using water to spray this hop break while we get past the hop break. I'm going to go ahead and add in my first hop addition of Warrior hops. And we're going to let it go for an hour on those. But here in about 40 minutes I'll add the other hops. The Willamette hops. So we'll get back to this in a minute. Okay guys, it's been about 15 minutes since I added the first hop addition. I went back and looked at the instructions on this particular recipe, and I believe he's saying add the hops in 15 minutes in. It says 45-minute boil, so I'm assuming he actually meant to add them in 15 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and add in the Willamette hops now, and then at the 45-minute mark we will add in the cocoa powder and lactose. I'm going to have to dial this down a little bit because it looks like it's trying to boil up on me. But anyways, we're going to let this go for another 30 minutes, or 45 minutes, I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me today. 45 more minutes and then we will be done with this. Okay, so we are at the 45-minute mark since the boil started. I need to go ahead and add in the cocoa powder and the lactose milk sugar. Alright, first, these are half-pound packs, so I got 2 packs of this. That's 1. Just kind of stir it. Okay, let's add the next one. It's 2. Kind of stir that in. Okay. And I'm using Hershey's unsweetened natural cacao. So I'm going to go ahead and measure out a cup of it and add it. Hold it over the pot. More chocolate won't hurt anything if you accidentally get a little in the pot. Alright. That's a cup of unsweetened cocoa. Or cacao. Mix this in real good. Oh man, I don't know if I'm making hot cocoa or if I'm making beer at this point. Never made a chocolate beer where I actually add chocolate, you know, cacao powder or nibs. Some people use nibs. This is powder. But I've never done an actual beer where I add chocolate into it. Chocolate malts, yes. Chocolate malts are very similar. Have like a kind of a chocolatey flavor, but to actually put cacao in my beer, this is a new venture for me. But I do like chocolate beers, so hopefully this comes out good. Alright. Now, I got 15 minutes left, so I'm going to go ahead and add in my wort chiller. Get it sanitized. Just like so. And in 15 minutes we'll start cooling this wort down. Alright guys, I wanted to go over something real quick. While my wort chiller is running through my steaming hot wort, I'm going to let that run and cool that down. But while that's happening, I wanted to go over something for you noobs. Yes, I called you a noob because you're a noob. But there's nothing wrong with that. I haven't been doing this for maybe more than 3 years myself, and so I'm a noob in some people's eyes as well. Anyways, to get to the point, the biggest thing is sanitization. You want to make sure everything is sanitized. After this beer is cooled down, anything that touches it, you want to make sure it's pretty much damn near sterile. So I like to always take a little bit of my sanitizer that I mix up for my bucket. Got a whole bucket of it here. I like to fill a little spray bottle up, and I like to take it and just kind of spritz the lid, or anything that you need to sanitize that the beer is going to touch. Just get yourself a spray bottle full of your sanitizer and just, you know, sanitize it up. Colander that I'm going to use to sit on top of my fermenter and run the wort through, that even has to be sanitized. Just anything that you know, is coming in contact with your wort needs to be sanitized. You've put in about 4 or 5 hours of brew time, maybe 3 if you're extract brewing, but it's just the little things that matter the most in keeping your beer from touching any bacteria or any wild yeast getting in your beer. Some people want it if they want to do a sour beer, but for me, I'm keeping everything sanitized and clean. I don't even like sour beers. But yeah, here's like my lid is soaking wet because that's all sanitizer. And I'm using iodophor, and iodophor requires about 10 minutes of contact before it's officially sanitized. But I just wanted to share that with you real quick. We'll get the filling in the fermenter here in a second once this wort is chilled. Alright guys, the wort is cooled down enough to pitch yeast into it, but first I want to take a sample of it so I can do a hydrometer reading later to see what my specific gravity is for this brew. Hopefully it's around the 1.09 area that the original poster for or metal mat says his was, so hopefully mine's close. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a sample. Alright, that's good. Now I've got my sample. We're gonna go ahead and let this run through the sanitized colander. Move this out a little bit. Basically, like I said, everything's been sanitized, and now I'm just simply filling up my fermenter. And after this is full, we'll pitch the yeast. Alright, fermenter is full. We probably got about 5.5 gallons in this fermenter, so I wouldn't be surprised if I need a blow off setup later, but I don't really care at the moment. But let's go ahead and put the yeast in and put the sanitized lid on. Now on another video that I'm currently editing along with this one, well, you won't know because you're already watching it, I made a yeast starter. Look at all that yeast. That's a lot of cells. And basically what this is going to do, it's going to just immediately start fermenting this beer pretty quick, because I've made a lot of additional cells by making a starter. And you can look in the other video to see what that all means. So I'm going to go ahead and take off my top. We're just going to pour it in. If you saw that, that was my stir bar that just went in there. I'll have to fish it out later when I empty the fermenter, but it's sanitized and everything. I ain't worried about it. So I'm going to put a lid on this. So we've got our sanitized lid, nice and sanitized. We're going to take it, we're going to snap it in place. Looks like we're sealed. Now, we need to fill this with some sanitizer. Some people use plain water. I like to use sanitizer just to be safe. The little handy spray bottle you were using earlier to spray stuff, you can get your sanitizer from there. So I'm using a 3-piece airlock. Some people use a single one bubbler, but I like these. They're just easier to fill and maintain, and the other ones are, I don't know, I have trouble with those. I don't know why, but let's go ahead and fill it up. And you want it just enough. See, that's too much. Let me pour some out. You want it just enough that this thing will lift without getting stuck at the top. So just enough to allow the CO2 to escape. So now I'm going to take that and just stick it in the grommet in the lid. Just want to make sure it's in there good. Doesn't have to be shoved way in there. Just enough that there's a seal. And then I'm going to take this and put it in my cool brewing fermenter bag with a couple of ice bottles, and it'll keep it around 68 degrees. And then when this beer is ready, maybe I'll do a racking video, racking this over to a secondary. I might just do that if I don't, but at least if I don't, I'll at least do a review of this particular brew. And yeah, I've had a couple of home brews they make, can't you tell? Keep making all kinds of mistakes, but whatever. Video wise. So till next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you haven't, like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Okay, guys, one more thing before I let you go, and I don't know why I didn't think about it, but we need to take a gravity reading, so let's go ahead and do that. I've got my hydrometer here, and it's got the measurements here for specific gravity and potential alcohol by volume, etc. The beer should be around 1.091. We'll see what it really comes out to. Give it a spin too to help take the bubbles off the hydrometer. Let's see what we got. .091 is really high. Just be surprised. I'm actually getting a reading of 1.071. So that's like 20. That's 20 different. So another thing I need to consider is the temperature of this wort. So I need to take a temperature. Let's see what we're sitting at here. The wort is at 75.6. I don't know if you can see that. 75.6. So what I've got here is the Beersmith app for my iPad. We're going to go ahead and put in the temperature. 75.6. Let me go back and find the right thing here. .071. 1.071. 75.6. Go. Okay. The adjusted reading is 1.073. Too high of the temp will make your hydrometer change. Too low will make it a change. I've said that before. So to get the true reading, I just pulled up my app, and it's got the hydrometer reading space where you can put that in, and then the temperature, and then it will actually give you what the reading really is and what it should be. So that's a pretty cool Beersmith tool. But yeah, So 1.073, not 1.091. I'm not sure. Man, that's some crazy efficiency he's got. I don't know. 1.073 is still a fairly high gravity, I think. Definitely needed a starter for that, anyways. But what does it say? Let's see. What's the it says potential ABV based on this hydrometer is little over 9%. So that's still a pretty strong beer. So I just wanted to show you this, and so cheers. I just didn't want to leave this part out like I normally do.